Hello everyone, I'm Jordan Kruger. Welcome to Tommy Media's The Locker Room. The third-ranked St. Thomas men's basketball team is 21-3 this season after losing to Bethel 71-65 Wednesday night. Still, the Tommies clinched at least a share of their 10th consecutive MIAC title after defeating St. Olaf Monday. Forward Connor Nord scored his 1,000th career point Monday night, and guard Cortez Tillman is averaging 9.8 points off the bench for the Tommies. I'm joined today by Coach John Tower, Connor Nord, and Cortez Tillman. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us, Jordan.
Coach, in Wednesday night's game, you played a tough Bethel team, and at one point your team was leading by 14 points. From your vantage point, what happened last night?
Well, obviously we played well to establish that lead, and Bethel's a dangerous team. I thought there was a stretch in there from about 9 minutes to 7 minutes where they scored 4 straight times, and we didn't capitalize. And going from 14-6, suddenly you had a game within a couple possessions. And you know, credit to Bethel, they made some really good plays, and we certainly shot the ball uncharacteristically poorly. But that's part of basketball. Over the course of a long season, we're not at all happy with the outcome, but I love the way these guys stick together and trust one another, and there's a reason why we're 21-3.
Connor, this season's really been a season of milestones for you, starting over your 100th career game. Then you also eclipsed the 1,000-point mark. What did that mean to you to reach that mark on Monday?
It was a goal I'd always set for myself, but it's not the most important thing. The most important thing to me is that the team keeps winning and we go as far as possible, and the end goal for me is a national championship.
Coach, Monday night's win, you guys tied for the, at least sharing the conference title for the 10th consecutive year. What has led to this decade of dominance?
Yeah, it's, I love these guys. They're still hungry, and so it'll be nice to savor a lot of that after the season. But to win 10 straight conference titles is really unheard of. Never been done in the MIAC. I think Kansas might be the only team in the entire nation, D1, 2, or 3, with a longer streak right now. And I think it represents a couple things. One is this university and what it stands for in terms of excellence. 2, all these guys, Connor, Cortez, their teammates, and all the guys that have gone before them for the last decade, the contributions they made, and even years before that in terms of building this program. It's certainly an incredibly gratifying achievement, and one that anybody who's been around college basketball a while knows that doesn't happen easily. These guys have a target on their backs every day. They handle it extremely well, and a lot of these guys were in about 6th or 7th grade when that streak started, and so to carry that on, I know there are a ton of alums who are very proud. They'll be out for senior day on Saturday, and we're looking forward to continuing the season on a high note.
Cortez, earlier in the season, the team was able to nudge out a win against the University of Wisconsin River Falls, but last night you dropped one to Bethel. What did the team learn from last night's game?
I just think what a big thing that we learned was not to be complacent when we're ahead by like 14 or a little bit more, whatever, that we shouldn't bog down in offense and not worry about not being able to make plays to get the lead back up as much as it is when teams do start coming back, and just to focus on one play at a time.
Thank you. And now it's time for this week's fan question. Coach, Senior Brent Myers wants to know if you ever thought there was a chance of you getting written about in the New York Times. And just to kind of go off of that, on Tuesday, an article debuted in the New York Times about Coach Tower discussing how he applies his doctorate in the classroom and on the court.
Well, it was clearly a slow news day if the New York Times had covered that story. I think, it's certainly, I think as much as anything, it's a recognition of how well these guys have played, how well our program has done. And part of the reason I went and got my doctorate, number one, I love to learn and the field of psychology. And number two, I always wanted to have a balance between academics and athletics. That's what we preach to these guys. That's what we try and live out as coaches. And so to me, it's a dream come true to get to work in 2 jobs that I do love. And, the notoriety is nice, but the reality is what's far better is going to work every day with guys like Connor and Cortez and their teammates.
Awesome. Thank you. If you have a question, tweet it to @TommyMedia. Thanks for joining us. Be sure to check Tommy Media for the latest campus news. With Coach John Tower, Connor Nord, and Cortez Tillman, I'm Jordan Kruger. We'll see you next time in The Locker Room.